15 October 2024. My name is Johnson Matoma presenting. In the Airlines House of Representatives adjourns prematurely due to absence of majority members of its third quarter opening, with only 20 representatives in attendance. Government of Liberia ravages social media rumors that the country had lost global support for its bid for a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council, as Foreign Ministry discloses huge international support for Liberia. Following his recent appointment by President Joseph Boakai, Anthony Swart takes over as acting director of the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, and away from Liberia, Ukraine denies allegations that it had supplied drones to rebels fighting against the Malian army and Russia-backed missionaries. These plus many more, including the news bulletin sports, are all packaged on today's edition of the program News Desk, on which Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited are our sponsors on the program. We'll take a break to be right back. Bank Liberia Limited are our two sponsors on the program. That's at this point with John Marka Davis, who will bring for us the news bulletin. Good evening.
Good evening, Johnson. Good evening to all. The House of Representatives on Tuesday adjourned its third quarter opening section prematurely due to poor attendance. Tuesday's section was adjourned by Deputy Speaker Thomas Fowler after 20 out of the 73 members attended the opening of the third quarter of the House of Representatives. Deputy Speaker Fowler attributed the absence of majority members to medical issues, travel leaves, and the constituency break. He, however, encouraged all lawmakers to return on Thursday to continue the work of the Liberian people. The Deputy Speaker emphasized that their focus upon return will be to hold the executive branch of government accountable and ensuring checks and balances. The Lofa County District 1 representative spoke Tuesday during the opening of the third quarter of the House of Representatives. Several members of the Liberian Senate have underscored the need for the Boakai administration to prioritize road connectivity across the country. The senators made the statement during their opening remarks at the 37th day sitting of the legislature upon their return from the break. The senators, in separate statements, stressed that the issue of bad road network is of serious concern and the government must pay attention. According to them, for too long, people in hard-to-reach places across the country continue to struggle to have access to some parts of the country due to deplorable road conditions. The senators made a call during their deliberations on road connectivity on Tuesday. In a related development, Nemba County Senator Prince Johnson has recommended an immediate review of the mineral development agreement between ArcelorMittal and the Liberian government. Senator Johnson observed that ArcelorMittal has failed to adhere to corporate social responsibility. As such, there is a need to review the agreement. The Nemba County Senator, making remarks at the opening of the 37th sitting of the Liberian Senate, outlined the issues of benefits and opportunities for the affected communities. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has disclosed that many countries are committed to supporting Liberia's bid for a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council. Liberia recently launched its bid for a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council during the 79th General Assembly in New York, the United States. Making the disclosure Tuesday at the Ministry of Information press briefing, the Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister for International Cooperation and Economic Integration, Dr. Ibrahim Myean, said following the launch of a rigorous campaign, several countries have pledged their support to Liberia. According to him, of the over 190 countries that are expected to vote in the elections slated for June next year, Liberia could secure the vote of over 100 countries. Despite social media rumors that Liberia has not been greeted by other nations, Dr. Myean expressed optimism that the country is poised to win in the process. Following his recent appointment by President Joseph Boakai, Anthony Sewell has officially taken over as acting Director General of the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency. Sewell replaces Christopher Peters, who served as officer in charge of the LDA for the past 4 months after President Boakai suspended the heads of the agency following internal crises. In a colorful ceremony on Tuesday, Peters bade the agency staff farewell and urged them to continue serving the country with diligence to end the drug epidemic in the country. Government lawyers have suffered a serious legal blow at the Supreme Court in their petition to prevent George Roosevelt Whaley's decision to release Guinean national Ibrahim Kali Sharif from the Monrovia Central Prison. This follows Associate Justice Yami Betts' October 15 legal conference with parties' lawyers at the Temple of Justice. Justice Bessie, according to RCR judicial correspondent, declined to issue the alternative writ of prohibition as prayed for by Justice Minister Oswald Tue, seeking to overturn George Whaley's decision to place defendant Sharif on bail. Justice Bessie's decision further mandated George Whaley to proceed with the matter consistent with law. The Justice in Chambers order means that George Roosevelt Whaley was not in error when he granted defendant Sharif's motion to be placed on bail, consistent with Chapter 13, Section 13.1 of the Criminal Procedure Law of Liberia. Our judicial correspondent further said that in a couple of days, the Guinean national will be released to his sureties if they meet all conditions set by George Roosevelt Whaley. Suspect Sharif was recently arrested by agents of the National Security Agency for allegedly plotting to overthrow the military government of Guinea through the Liberia-Guinea borders. The National Bureau of Construction has ended a training of 30 monitoring and evaluation officers to beef up its compliance effort. The training was sponsored by the World Bank through the Liberia Investment, Finance and Trade Project, or LIFT. According to a press release issued by the NBC on Tuesday, participants were drawn from both administration and construction wings of the National Bureau of Constructions. The release said the focus is to align the workforce with NBC's core values of monitoring the compliance of concessions operating across the country. At the close of the week-long training, LIFT focal person on small and medium enterprise, Julius C. Kennel, hailed the partnership between LIFT and the National Bureau of Concessions and stressed his entity's willingness to support the NBC's respond to its statutory mandate efficiently. Also speaking, National Bureau of Concession Director General lauded the efforts of both LIFT and the World Bank and added that the training is a significant response to the capacity need of the National Bureau of Concession. Meanwhile, the training, which is in 3 phases, also includes the development of a website and digital reporting platform that enhances the professionalization of NBC monitoring and evaluation engagement. The executive director of Global Street Child has lauded the government of Liberia for what he calls the huge political will to bring more to education. Street Child is a global children's charity that works in over 25 countries around the world, dedicated to tackling the barriers that prevent children from learning in safe environments. The institution, in a release Tuesday, said the collaboration and strong commitment among different government ministries, particularly the Ministry of Gender and the Ministry of Education, offers great hope for the future, noting that the bold initiative to reduce the number of street-connected children in the country is welcoming. The release signed by Street Child Executive Director Andrew Temen further indicated that over the last few months, President Boakai has been supportive through political will and deep belief to get thousands of children off the streets and into classrooms. Temen has meanwhile called on the government of Liberia to apply more efforts in ensuring that no child is left behind, no matter their circumstances. Chief Justice Siena Yo has mandated the chairperson of the Grievance and Ethics Committee of the Supreme Court, Councillor George Henrys, to reopen the investigation into a complaint filed by Mr. Bala Vago against Councillor Samuel Pearson after the parties failed to reach a settlement. Chief Justice Yo further instructed Councillor Henrys to submit his findings or recommendations to the full bench of the Supreme Court for determination on the matter as provided by law. The priest of the High Court, August 14, 2024 mandate to the committee head, according to RCR judicial correspondent, was triggered by complainant Bala Vago's account to her that one of the committee members told him that he has withdrawn his case against Councillor Pearson without any conditions. Meanwhile, responding to Bala's claims, Councillor Samuel Pearson said he is not troubled by reopening the investigation, saying Bala has since received 30,000 United States dollars plus 1.5 million Liberian dollars from his stepfather James Henry Pearson, in addition to 10,000 US dollars plus 1.5 million Liberian dollars that he earlier received, bringing the total amount to 40,000 US dollars and 3 million Liberian dollars. Councillor Pearson further revealed that Bala and his stepfather reached a settlement of 9,500 US dollars, but he later decided to take flight to the monthly and probate court with a petition for accounting and inventory, which placed a halt on the remaining payment. The Liberian legal practitioner maintained that he did no wrong as a lawyer, adding that everything he did met the approval of the two parties, insisting that he was legally instructed to obey them. As such, Bala Vago's claims are far from the truth. Complainant Bala Vago, who is believed to be one of the directors at the Bureau of Rehabilitation and Correction, has since accused Councillor Pearson of illegally withdrawing over 100,000 United States dollars from his late mother's account under the instruction of his stepfather, James Henry Pearson. The chairperson of the Police Academy Community Election Committee, Madam Florence Inez, has disclosed a rerun at one of the voting centers in a disputed election in the community. The election in Police Academy Pinsville was disrupted after an unknown individual allegedly fired live bullets at one of the centers, the Police Academy Public School, where the vote counting process was ongoing. Speaking Tuesday to reporters after the reading of a resolution from a hearing recently conducted in the community, the election committee chair, Florence Innes, said the rerun is expected to be held within the period of 1 month. Also speaking, one of the candidates in the disputed election, Sewan Nimland, vowed to collaborate with the other party, Team Kukaju, for the growth and development of the community. Meanwhile, the chairman of Team Kukaju, Winston Gray, has called on the Liberia National Police to investigate the shooting incident as they gear towards the rerun process in the community. Chairman Gray warned individuals, especially District 5 Representative Priscilla Cooper, not to interfere into the police academy election, calling for a free, fair, and transparent process. And out of Liberia, Ukraine has denied allegations that it had supplied drones to rebels fighting against the Malian army and Russia-backed mercenaries. It comes after Paris-based Le Monde newspaper reported that Ukrainian drones were providing support for the Tuareg rebels who are benefiting from discreet but decisive support from Kiev. Mali's junta-led government ended a long-running alliance with former colonial power France in 2022 in favor of Russia in a bid to tackle years-long insurgency in the north of the country. But it has been unable to quell the unrest and recently suffered heavy losses alongside its Russian allies, according to the BBC. What does the Bulletin of News is back to Johnson Watoma.
continue the work of the Liberian people. Several members of the Liberian Senate have underscored the need for local administration to prioritize road connectivity across the country. The senators said in a statement with their opening remarks at the 7-day sitting of the legislature upon their return from break. The senators, in separate remarks, expressed or stressed that the issue of bad road connectivity is of serious concern and the government must pay attention.
I want to bring to your attention the issue of government. The president continues to sign the executive order, which means he's doing the work of the legislature. He's just signing an executive order of a bill to create the national rail. There's already the bill in this Senate 10 years ago that bill was introduced by the former Senator Amajala and myself. It did not pass. It's still in the committee room. Other bills that are always in the committee room, it is still in the committee room, restricting acting positions for where officers should be confirmed. We have to take these things serious. While we are exercising our oversight, we must also take our law seriously. We have a very serious problem. Drugs is in every little village. We have drug problems. We have to be able to address the problem. We have to take them seriously. And not only rehabilitating them, but also treating them, dealing with the issues that is confronting the people in the Southeast. And on account of that, what I'd like to say is the issue of us putting 22 million or more millions to the Ministry of Public Works for renovation, I'd like to say it is just a plus. If we would spend 22 million to renovate, I think we can spend the 22 million to put 22 miles of paved road, the road front. We should take that most seriously. When you are doing the right thing, people will have a lot to say. What is in the interest of the Liberian people? I'm asking that we begin to force things to happen for the people of this country. Program, the effects of the viral situations are being felt by people, but due to their resilience, their spirits are high. We provided money up front so that we're not have this problem. Why are we having this problem? Where the funding not released on time, we want this plenary to mandate the Committee on Public Works to hold some hearings, ministry, to find out what went wrong. Because we realize that most of the roads have places that never saw before or saw this year. So the road issue is very key and important that we need to look at.
There are some senators there making remarks at the opening of the 37-day sitting of the legislature upon their return from break. In another development, Nema County Senator Prince Johnson has recommended an immediate review of the mineral development agreement between ArcelorMittal and the Liberian government. Senator Johnson observed that ArcelorMittal has failed to adhere to its corporate social responsibility. As such, there is a need to review the MDA. The Nema County Senator making remarks at the opening of the 37th section of the Liberian Senate outlined the issues of benefit and opportunities for the affected communities.
Nema is certain to much better and Nema so much with natural resources and it helps the budget of our country. But there are some problems we are facing now. The first MPA, the Mineral Development Agreement, was entered into law at this time. What was still was to do certain things for the people. There are certain incentives. I know what been done. We are not building housing units, but rather we are building so many containers and they are living in those containers. And the Myanmar people have passed the stimulus others. When before the new MPA comes, please allow the inclusion of the first mineral development agreement to find out what the shortcomings have been over the years. To put in rules, to promote our rules, to our schools, to our hospitals. So you're not doing any of those things mentioned in the first mineral development agreement. And our people are subjected to hardships. And they have said, I should appeal to you that they are unhappy. But since Liberia is a country of law, not men, they want you to please allow a revision of the first agreement. And if that is allowed and the agreement is reviewed, and you discover that what the place there to do for the people of Limba has never been done, then we would disagree for a new MPA to be possible. We will not allow that, and we appeal to you that you will help us to ensure that the people of Limba benefit from what God has given to them. We are tired of seeing our children taken away with in protest because of blatant disregard by the company to meet the needs of our people. We will take away with, and the government will send police, tear gas them, and then will shoot them rather than jail them for their own rights.
He is Nima County Senator Prince Johnson there calling for the revision of the mineral development agreement between Aslameta and the Liberian government. He spoke at the opening of the 37th section of the Liberian Senate. Back to this development, the House of Representatives on Tuesday adjourned its third quarter opening section prematurely due to poor attendance. During the adjournment, Deputy Speaker Thomas Fowler attributed the absence of majority members to medical issues, travel leaves, and the constituency break.
It is our anticipation that this coming Thursday, we have the document. So today is just the first day since our discussion. So we gave it a try. We hope to see Thursday. Encourage our colleagues to come and do the last work. But now it's not back. What's going to be the for us? But we have people business as usual. I know David is thank you. Many that you will be talking about. Basically, issues that have to do with the interests of our people. And that has always been the priority of the agenda of the legislature in keeping with our proceeding, in keeping with our questions. Also, check and balances, the issues of check and balances is going to be on the agenda. We know the speaker is the head administrator of the Department of Representative and his principal deputy. So we're happy to see the speaker back and that he tried to always shift the direction of the agenda of the House of Representatives.
He is Lofa County District 1 Representative and Deputy House Speaker Thomas Fowler speaking. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has disclosed that many countries are committed to supporting Liberia's bid for a non-permanent seat on the UN General Council. Liberia recently launched a bid for a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council during the 79th General Assembly in New York, the United States. Making the disclosure Thursday at Mika press briefing, Deputy Foreign Minister or Foreign Affairs Minister for International Cooperation and Economic Integration, Dr. Abraham Myean, said following the launch of a rigorous campaign, several countries have pledged their support to Liberia.
We have secured commitments from many countries, and our candidacy has been endorsed by our competent regional bodies, the African Union, ECOWAS. They both endorse our candidacy this year. Yet, we are not resting on these laurels. We are vigorously campaigning because we have to win a two-thirds majority to be elected in the US Supreme Court. 192 member countries voting, and we must secure the votes from 128 or 129. And so we are not resting because we have received endorsement from ECOWAS and African Union, but because we have received commitments from several countries across the world. We are campaigning. Now, I would like to confirm you, on behalf of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, that our campaign for a seat on the US Security Council is well approached, and our path to victory is inexorable. We are winning the seat, and our Minister of Foreign Affairs is working towards that. The election hasn't been held. The election will be held in June 2025. Nigeria did not participate in any election for the Security Council this year. The election for the Security Council this year was held in June 2024. 5 countries were elected.
Make me read.
One Somalia for the seat that has been passed. Mozambique will be given the seat by the end of this year. And so Somalia will be difficult. On September 27th, officially launch our campaign at the headquarters of the UN, where we will take advantage of the opportunity provided by the General Assembly, which normally will bring together all the member states of the United Nations.
He is Deputy Foreign Minister for International Cooperation and Economic Integration, Dr. Ibrahim Yande, making a disclosure at Mika Press Briefing. Let's bring you this development on the program. The chairperson of the Police Academy Election Committee, Madam Florence Innis, disclosed a rerun at one of the voting centers in the disputed election. The election in Police Academy community, Painsville, was disrupted after an unknown individual allegedly fired live bullets at one of the centers, the Police Academy Public School, where the counting process was ongoing. Speaking Tuesday to reporters of a resolution for a hearing recently conducted in the community, the election committee chairperson Florence Innes said the rerun is expected to be held within the period of 1 month.
At the end of the day, we actually want what Police Academy wants because we're actually here to serve the people and we don't want to impose anything on them. So they came out as a community with their ruling to us and saying that, look, because of all that happened, let us 1 month from now go to people. And as a district, we say fine because we are not here to insist. No, we want them to do it in a way that there will be peace in police. They community themselves, they gathered themselves, had a hearing amongst them, and they came out and said, look, after all that's happened, we have heard all this time, the best thing to be fair or to be sure, let us go back to do a rerun just for that percent. For 1%, for 1%. The Police Academy Public School. Two of the parties have agreed, one of the parties have responded and said that they wouldn't sign it. But I'm sure as community, the public get to come because at the end of the day, it's just to come and have peace in Police Academy. It's nothing about nothing. It's the development of Police Academy is to have peace and harmony in Police Academy. So we do not want for the district to come and impose anything on Police Academy because the bulk of the people have said they were involved, they are the party. Then they come and say that, okay, we brought our community here saying to us that let us go for that position for rerun in that place. And we're saying, fine, that's what you want. Okay, we are going to do it. Don't forget, at the end of the day, the common denominator is Police Academy, 3 parties. He said 1 month from now, that's what he said, but usually you know that probably will be on the weekday, so probably look for the closest date in the 1 month.
She's Madam Florence Innes. She's the chairperson of the Police Academy Community Election. They're also speaking, one of the candidates in the disputed election and standard bearer of the Police Academy Liberation Party, Seyo Nimle, vowed to collaborate with Team Kukachu for the growth and development of the community. Meanwhile, the chairman of Team Kukachu, Winston Gray, has called on the Liberian National Police to investigate the shooting incident as they get towards the rerun process in the community. Chairman Gray warned individuals, especially District 5 Representative Procedure Copper, not to interfere into the police academic election, calling for a free, fair, and transparent process.
Weeks ago, we did rigmarole back and forth, and today is the final hearing. And let me say a big thanks to the hearing officer who making his duty to make the hearing to be a successful one. But what we got up from our hearing today is like there are too many contradictions in the proceeding process of the hearing. We know that Police Academy is our common goal. We are under obligation, whether spiritual obligation, political obligation, we are under obligation to protect Police Academy with our all. So things that will bring Police Academy down, I mean, we will not stand there for it to happen. And for the hearing today, I mean, it's independent. It's clear that there were a whole lot of election irregularities. When you saw the lawmaker being part of the process, or poor worker were part of the activity during the election time. But the hearing officer said those 3 were not strong enough to make some cases, and some of them were named were convention into it, they were charged out. But the real issue here is this, that we will be going for rerun rerun about to take place. We are afraid because we agreed to go for so we will go for the rerun because if you ask me great again, what made a major concern after the bonfire is that we going for rerun. That's why every political party were given due process to explain what they know, what happened that night. We want for the election to take place for the rerun. I can tell them when to do it, but I know that we pretty close to our money. Today is the year. We done with the hearing process, but we are not getting any from the Liberal National Police.
He is Mr. Gray. He's the chairperson of Team Kukaju, a community-based party in the police Kalembe community. They're speaking earlier on the heard of voice. Florence Innes, she's chairperson of the police Kalembe community election committee. She spoke to reporters in Painesville. At this point, we now join Erin Butterfire, who is better seated to bring us the passion of last sports.
Good evening, Johnson, and good evening, everyone. Liberia chance of participating in Africa's biggest sporting event, the African Cup of Nations, remain uncertain following the country 2-1 defeat to Guinea Equatorial on Monday evening at the Sam Wakanda Sports Stadium in Painesville near Monrovia. The Lone Star was aiming for a draw after substitute William Gibson for 11 equalized in the second half from a Devontier pass, but Guinea Equatorial scored in the last counter-attack in the 90 plus 4 minute as the match ended 1-2 in favor of the visitors. The defeat left Liberia bottom of Group E with 1 point from 4 matches. Liberia will welcome Togo in November and end their group stage against Algeria in the same group. Liberia Basketball Association First Division champions Mati Barrow are out of the FIBA Basketball African League. The Liberian representative elimination came after they were defeated in 2 straight games in the preliminary qualifiers in Tripoli, Libya. The Whalers of Barrow won their third match against Ghana champions Sprinters Knacks by 74-69 points. It could not get them a space for participating in the Elite 16 slated for next month in Ivory Coast. The LBA First Division champions lost to Ivory Coast champions ABC Fighters and Benin champions Elite Cartoon in the opening match of the qualifiers. Mati Barrow have won the LBA First Division championship for the 4 successful times in succession and participated in their first international competition after more than 8 decades. MC Facel and New Electric Energy Vigo Chief Executive Officer Casel Cole has vowed to help build the Sports Writers Association of Liberia headquarters. Speaking during the 38th anniversary celebration of the Sports Writers Association of Liberia SWA at the SKD Sports Stadium, Kaseko disclosed through it is difficult task to build headquarters, but all sports journalists in the country that they will celebrate their next anniversary at the venue. And during the 38th anniversary, SWA young staff defeated SWA veteran that featured legs of Abraham Williams and Hassan Kewu, amongst others, with a 4-3 post-match penalty win. They also defeated Telecel Liberia in the last encounter with similar score. Nathaniel sources told Demba County was recorded after the foul committed on Telecel player. And away from Liberia now, Sierra Leone keep their hope of qualifying for the Morocco 2025 African Cup of Nations following their 1-0 victory over African champions Ivory Coast on Tuesday evening at the SKD Sports Stadium. Trapaliat from by Sokobi of Japan scored the lone goal from a cross of Mohamed Kali Toure of the Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone moved third on their group table with 4 points from 4 matches, having lost the 4-1 to Ivory Coast in the first leg. Sierra Leone will welcome Zambia at the SKD in November and travel to Cameroon to welcome Chad in their final showdown. Cameroon, Algeria, Ivory Coast are all hanging in stage to qualify for the next year edition of the African Cup of Nations. Sudan that Ghanaian hope with a 2-0 win today in Morocco to set Ghana a straight 4 defeat in the competition history. That's it for the sport, Johnson.
The Passion Last Sports is a regular feature on News Desk. Thanks to Erin Butterfire for the Passion Last Sports. Let's bring you more for more investment in the education of people with disabilities to get them out of poverty. Jukai made a section when he delivered the keynote speech at the program marking the celebration of World Working Safety Day organized by the National Commission on Disabilities in collaboration with the National Union of Organizations of the Disabled in Monroeville.
We must make to ensure that regardless of ability and time in our society. Many of my grandmother were ostracized, forced to live, which is common for the rest of society as well as the so living and breathing rather than honest. Keep the principles of our structure and keeping our commitments for advocating for a society that treats this disabled members. There are still challenges. The situation is different. We see recognition of their abilities.
He is the Director General of the Civil Service Agency, Josiah Jokai. They are speaking. He remarks, the Executive Director of the National Commission on Disabilities, Samadin, encouraged the CSA to begin the enforcement of the act that established the NCD.
I would like to emphasize to make a commitment that you blood, sweat, and tears, that as long as God gave us breath, we will fight as the chief crusading officer of the Republic of Liberia, to have them educated, to have them inclusively employed, and act established the National Commissions of Disabilities in 2005. Section 5 says that persons in an entity, 4% should be persons with disabilities. But I would just guess that if an entity have 100 persons, at least 4 of those persons should be persons with disabilities. As our most energetic cabinet minister, firebrand, equalizer, you would like to approve for him today, in this official manner, to kindly please uphold Section 5 of the Act that established the National Commission for Disabilities.
He is the Executive Director of the National Commission on Disabilities. Saturday, added on the heard the voice of Civil Service Agency Director General Josiah Jokai. The West African regional body, ECOWAS, has ended a day-long dialogue with women engaged in cross-border trade aimed at addressing some of the challenges they are encountering in bringing their goods. Speaking during the dialogue in Monrovia on Tuesday, ECOWAS Ambassador to Liberia, Josephine Nkrumah, said the dialogue is intended to have an understanding of issues they face in cross-border trade, including some of the unnecessary taxes they paid or they are paying state security agents assigned at the border when bringing their goods.
We have had a number of missions at the border towns to engage with cross-border traders and as well the cross-border state agencies. So we've not only engaged the women, we've engaged the customs, the immigration, the agriculture inspectors, all of them, and all of those cross-border traders. We as find that cross-border trading is at the heart of some of the core objectives of ECOWAS. And one of the important things that ECOWAS seeks to do is to find ways of building integration, bringing us together, even though we are from different countries. And one key way of building that integration of an economic bloc of many 15 countries.
Madam Josephine Nkrumah is ECOWAS representative to Liberia there speaking. The Senior Vice President of the Education Development Center based in the United States has ended a 5-day visit to Liberia, praising the performance of the EDC team in Liberia. Mother Nancy Define, who is also the director of the International Development Division, said her visit has enabled her acquaint herself with the Youth and Advance Project. She disclosed holding discussions with the Minister of Education, Youth and Sports, and key stakeholders in Monrovia.
I've been working in Liberia off and on since 2009, working with EDC as it's done work both in the areas of basic education, in the areas of youth development, youth employment, alternative basic education, accelerated education, and we've just come out of an interview with some youth and NGOs who are very excited about seeing hope and progress for youth and employment. EDC receives funding from USAID and the Youth Advance, and I'm here to observe, I'm here to talk with partners, with the Ministry of Education, with the Ministry of Youth and Sports, which is the line ministry, and also to reflect with our staff on the long history of EDC in Liberia.
She's Madam Nancy Define. She is the Senior Vice President of the Education Department Center based in the United States of America. They're speaking to published before her departure from Liberia, taking us home on today's edition of the program News Desk. But as we take leave of you, a recap of our major developments. House of Representatives adjourns prematurely due to absence of majority members for its third quarter opening, with under 20 representatives in attendance. Government of Liberia ravages social media rumors that the country had lost global support for its bid for a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council as Foreign Ministry discloses huge international support for Liberia. Following his recent appointment by President Joseph Boakai, Anthony Saw takes over as Acting Director General of the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency. And away from Liberia, Ukraine denies allegations that it had supplied drones to rebels fighting against the Malian army and Russia-backed missionaries. Love to say many thanks to our reporters, correspondents, and all those who helped in packaging this news program. Special thanks to FEDA radio station for relaying this broadcast. Thanks to Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia for their sponsorship. Maka Davis was here with the news bulletin. Ellen Butterfire was here with the Passion of Life Sports, while Kopa Sangha produced our sounds. Maya Torgbean is always behind the camera. My name is Johnson Bantoma. I presented. Good night.
Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into Truth FM 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrel?
The black barrel is to tell Joseph Boakai, if you don't organize yourself in a barefoot manner, we'll take your later Liberia.
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
Some news summary of 12. My name is Hansen the representative.
Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
how is life after the presidency?
But before the presidency, the same life, that's what you see. I live a different life. You know, when I was not president, this life, that's what I live, you know, with my family and
I have a lot of interest in the health sector, the educational sector, and the agriculture sector. Both connecting those things.
Yeah, we are calling international community to come to intervene for us because, like I just stated previously, we don't know who to trust.
Always make sure to turn on to our
Myean TV and listening to Truth FM 96.1.